started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, don't tell them what to say. Tinfoil haters are here to save the day. Sammy are about to get started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Tinfoil Haters. How are all your vital idols doing? Today's going to be a little bit different, a little bit interesting. This is a relatively new discovery, breaking news. Something has been found underneath the Great Pyramid at Giza. And I know nothing about it. Sammy, do you know anything about it?
No, just the the very basics, like what we discussed earlier today. It was like, I'm aware that they've discovered something. I have no idea what it is. So.
What about you, Cindy? You discovered, you know what's going on? You're muted. You're terrible at this. You're not actually terrible. I love you.
I can't ever get that right. No, but I read that somebody was talking about it. I think it was Iman?
So yeah, that's what I say. Shout out to Iman Rich the Swag Lord. He actually brought this up on the Sunday stream, and I had heard nothing about it. And then me and Sammy were talking yesterday about what we're going to cover tonight. It was like, wait, why don't we do something different? Why don't we learn about this with you guys watching the show in the audience? And so, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to just pull up the information and figure out what is going on, react to some videos. Before we get into any of that, time to introduce the lovely co-host. So, Sammy, tell the people who you are, what you do, what you've been up to, the whole nine.
I'm Sammy 3Pete. You can find me on Twitter at Sammy 3Pete. I also have a channel, surprisingly also named Sammy 3Pete. So if you want to just go there, maybe click the like button, subscribe. I do a couple of shows. Every Sunday I have In Other News. It's where I bring people in the nerdosphere, and we talk about nothing culture war related, just stupid things that happen in the news. And then my flagship channel is called Cavecast, and that's where I'm giving normies a PhD in the world and lore of Batman. So it's been going quite well. We've got a pretty good reaction from it. So
excellent. What about you, Cindy? What have you been up to? What do you got going on?
Oh man, so I stream tomorrow at 5 p.m. CST, and I am terrified because I haven't picked a game. I have to spin a wheel with all the names of the games on it to get one. Haven't done that yet, and totally not prepared. So pray for me, guys. Pray for me.
It's your first stream; it'll go swimmingly, and I mean, it'll be bad. Everyone's first stream is bad, but you'll learn so much from it. And people have a good time. You got a dedicated audience. It'll be fucking great. I'll be there in the chat. Can't wait. But we gotta say hey to all the tinfoil haters out there. So Ryan came in first. Ryan, how you doing? Also, by the way, I saw Ryan use a bunch of emojis. I was inspired. For all you Vital Idol members, we have added like 4 or 5 new emojis as well, including a tinfoil hat emoji specifically for this show. So, yeah, just feel free to use those to your heart's content. Lilith is here. How you doing? Lilith, Leonard, Gostal, Philip Morgan in the house, John Washburn. How you doing? Hotter with Naz. Who built the pyramids, Joe? Who built the pyramids, Joe? EB is here. How you doing? Hebrew in the house. Cindy, of course, conversing with the chat as well. You love to see it. Who else we got? I know there were some names I missed. Paul Byers with us here. How you doing, Paul? Daxon, the best mod in the whole damn land. Thank you so much. Mrs. 3Pete, friend of the channel, to call my here. The better half of my lovely co-host. Let's see. Soul Assassin, how you doing, Soul Assassin? Cinevere Stalker, because of course, anywhere that she goes, he is so willing to follow. Moxie Dame, Foxy Moxie. I have a stream with her tonight, not too long after this, where we'll be covering the Nixium cult. So from what's going on under the pyramids to the Nixium cult, all the woo-woo going down tonight, baby. Let's go. Mage Wolf in the house. Jake Martin is here. How you doing, Jake? Thank you so much. Gasoline and Vertebrate, my man, Brian. How you doing? Watching on X. You love to see folks viewing and commenting on X. Mr. E is in the house. Keep it easy, E. I think that's getting close to pretty much everybody. I just want to make sure that we give everyone their due. Space Couch, Brian coming in as Space Couch. You'll love to see it. Sub to this man. I've been on a show. Cindy's been on a show. They're great episodes. Mike Harlow's on the show. Another great episode. Let's see who else we got. Deistic Pride is here. Roby, thank you so much. I love how there's certain folk that only show up for this show as opposed to none of my others. Like, that means this guy's own, like, getting his dedicated follow. I love it. Zach
got legs.
Man with a plan. Thank you so much for showing up. I think now are we getting close to everybody? Gaming Brethren Advocates in the house. Hypnotic says, hola. How you doing, Hypnotic? Thank you so much, brother. And guys, we are going to get into it. Oh, of course, Little Miss Anonymous saying meow. Well, she didn't say that, but that's what she says every time. And you love to see it. Great comment on my video earlier, LMA. Let's get into this. So, yes, structure beneath the pyramid. Know next to nothing about it. This was recommended by Iman Rish's Swag Lord. He put the information in my Discord. So we're going to first pull up this little news article. We're going to just read through this, and then we'll get to reacting to some videos. We're also going to only do about an hour today because Sammy has other streaming obligations, and we'll kind of, friend would I be if I kept him from growing himself. There is a vast underground city below Egypt's Giza pyramids. Scientists' wild theory claims, but experts debunk it as fake news. So we're going to find out if this is true or not, because this was all over the internet. Like if you just Google underground Giza pyramid discovery, you will get article after article after article. So, and before we go over the article, Jake Martin coming in with that 20 banger. I'll have you know, I watched a 7-minute video from a dude wearing a 422 rag about these underground structures. So I'm basically an expert. Well, God damn, we should go on the show at some point then.
Yeah.
Man, this is for you, Jake. Thank you so much.
Except you know what? You just made the list. Oh, no.
Oh, here we go.
And Space Cat says totally the Underdark, then do not enter. Do not fucking enter. Researchers claim they've discovered the legendary Halls of Amenti, a vast city beneath Egypt's pyramids of Giza, a wild theory that's perplexed archaeological experts who dismiss claims as fake news. Italian scientists studying the pyramid of Khafre say the groundbreaking study has redefined the boundaries of satellite data analysis and archaeological exploration, according to spokesperson Niccolo Chiocco. Something fucking Italian. Sammy, you want to try your best with that? That's your people.
Let's see where.
That's probably Nicole, not Neocola.
Yeah, Nicole.
Neocola?
Sicolio.
Thank you. Our expert Italian correspondent, Sammy Threepeat.
Bada bing.
Aptly named for the Khafre project, Corrado Malanga from Italy's University of Pisa and Filippo. Jesus, Sammy, why don't you take this paragraph?
Oh my gosh, hold on.
Sure,
Shannon is right. Those churros are so distracting. Like, who makes Oreo churros?
I would go to town on those.
I
aptly
probably
named,
would, but why? Sorry.
aptly named the Khafre project, Corrado Malanga from Italy's University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi from the University of Strathclyde in Scotland led the expedition to discover the Giza Plateau's second largest pyramid.
Now, is anybody having trouble not saying Gaza because of all the news that's been for the last 4 fucking years?
No, that's just you.
Okay, gotcha. These are massive, by the way. The pyramids, like, I've never been, but huge. So yeah, just scale perspective. So if there's an underground city under here, it would have to be pretty fucking big. Scientists say they located 5 small room-like structures inside the pyramid using synthetic aperture radar. One structure contained the sarcophagus mistakenly thought to be the pharaoh's tomb, the team said in press release. The group claims 5 structures, previously known before the images, were found in the center of the pyramid. The newly discovered structures are connected to pathways that lead below the surface and are believed to expose hidden rooms and wells under the 4,500-year-old wonder of the world. Electromagnetic signals were turned into phonic data. Jesus, how y'all scientists deal with this shit? And yes, I agree. Minimal effort, Giza over Gaza. Phonic data that unveiled larger infrastructure leading down thousands of feet underground. Hold on, thousands of feet. What are we thinking?
I don't know. I got nothing. This is insane.
Yeah, I didn't. Why would they build so much just for one person?
Aliens.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the actual reason, but
I buy it. No, but you know, the Egyptians were kind of known for you can't take it with you when you go, and they're like, no, you can and you must. You know, like
In fact, take it all.
just entire condos underneath the fucking pyramids.
Yeah.
Like the 8 large
Well-
vertical structures theorized. Oh, what was that?
Oh, no, I was gonna ask, are those chambers, like, meant for, like, other people? Or is it just the one?
Don't know yet. Hopefully, we'll find out as this goes on because that is an excellent question that I do not fucking know the answer to as of yet. Electromagnetic symbols. Oh no, the 8 large vertical structures theorized to be wells or shafts are thought to extend over 6,500 feet across and 20,000 feet below ground.
2,000.
What'd I say?
20.
Sorry, 2,000. Thank you. Yeah, 6,500 across and 2,000 feet below ground. Researchers didn't reveal the use of the larger structures stretched below ground zero, but planned for further analysis and possible excavation to verify the artificial nature of the structures. The project used 2 satellites 420 miles up in space to send down radar signals that photographed the pyramids. And of course, it's more like spectral analysis than as a photograph, but data were compiled in images to create a rough copy was believed to be below the pyramids, including 8 walls. The hollow structure consists of spiral pathways leading down to the foreground, and the group used data to make a rough 3D model estimated was believed to be hidden from the world's eye. When we magnify these images in the future, we will reveal what beneath it lies can only be described as a true underground city, Malanga said, according to the outlet. Skepticism and accusations the study was a hoax arose, and the project did not publish the information with any peer review from independent researchers. Dr. Zahi Hawass, a renowned archaeologist and Egypt's former minister of antiquities, promptly called the claims completely wrong and fake news. The claim of using radar inside the pyramid is false. The techniques employed are neither scientifically approved nor validated. He told the National, I assume what? Oh, just the National. One researcher at the University of Denver said the claims were exaggerated and the technology is not advanced enough to create such images. Okay, hold on. I already have questions. So what we can use, again, special analysis technology to find out the compositions of the atmospheres of planets millions upon millions of light years away, but we can't do something similar on our own fucking planet. Like, I don't know that.
I feel like that isn't a good analogy because the science of other planets isn't proven. It's just theory.
No, special analysis is 100% proven. Special analysis is when you, basically so each various elements that exist in the atmosphere have they have a compositional makeup that is reflected on a color scale. And so by basically getting like infrared images, or not necessarily infrared, but by getting images based on this color scale, we can look at the different colors that appear in the atmosphere and we can tell what elements and whatnot exist within that atmosphere. That's not theoretical. That's hard science.
Also, who's this clown? Like, not telling scientists not to be scientists. It was like,
right.
It's all speculation. You pose a hypothesis and then you explore that. Like that's what being a scientist is. So that's what being a historian is. That so for you to go, no, that's nothing. That's fake news. It's like, shut up, you.
So I think it's just a case of, if this information is proven to be true, that would mean years upon years of history is about to get rewritten. And scientists don't like that. They like it when the science is settled. Also, Jake Martin says, we were deducing atmospheric composition for a long time even. Some chick figured it out, and I forgot her name, like a chud. Base. I didn't even know it was a
Nice.
chick. So this is all out of my pay grade. You and me both, which is why we're going to have such a good time with it. Then again, the analysis is based on how those planets were X number of years ago. Light takes time to get to us. True. That is true, John Washburn. So technically, we're looking at what the atmospheric makeup was X amount of years ago based on how many light years. Yeah, that's good clarification. Spectral analysis or special analysis, much like some Olympics are special. Yes, spectral. Radar expert Lawrence Conyers
this
said
is true. My wife does do that. That's adorable.
Radar expert Lawrence Conyer said there's a likelihood that 5 smaller structures found just below the surface may be there because of the history of the area. Conyer said the land was sacred in the ancient civilizations even before the pyramids were constructed, according to the Daily Mail. The wild claims have contributed to a growing interest in the possibility of a discovery of ancient texts and other resources from the Egyptian myths. A remarkably strong correlation between the layout and characteristics of these underground chambers and legendary halls of Amenti, as described by the ancient myths, Italian person said. And then to round it out, the halls of Amenti include the fabled Hall of Records, a hidden room believed to be underneath the pyramid complex of the Great Sphinx, containing resources of information about the ancient people of the area. These new archaeological findings would redefine our understanding of the sacred topography of ancient Egypt, providing spatial coordinates for previously unknown or unexplored subterranean structures, Ciclo added. And that's all the boring shit out the way. Let's take a look at some videos.
Yeah.
Ask
Can I ask
away.
a
What's your question?
So the technology used to map the underground of the pyramids, could they not use the same technology to at least try to prove that the maze system underneath France is like mapped out with it? That way it's something closer to the surface and doesn't have a giant pyramid on it.
You're talking about the catacombs.
Yeah,
My roommate Cookies has actually been to the catacombs. There's only so many places you're allowed to go. I think the vast majority of it is that so France has the catacombs severely controlled in terms of entry, exit, the whole nine. They don't want people going down there. How many like the amount of people that die per year? It's actually illegal to enter, but they can do it probably. But I bet politically they won't allow it. That'd be my guess. Is that because you're based on if this is true, then yes, they probably could do exactly what you're referring to. But I doubt France will allow it. Also, Blue Collar Loser with a 2-banger says, "I hate you both, so I'll catch the replay tomorrow." I love you too, Chris. I love you
Thanks,
too.
buddy.
Hopefully you're having a good night, brother. Let's go ahead and let's get you a clip. You know what? 2-banger for 2 seconds.
I fuck one of the robot dogs.
But not cats, because those were gods to the Egyptian. All right, let's watch this video. Tell me at any point if you want me to pause, if we've got questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks.
Briefly summarized, these findings allowed us to construct a 3D model of the entire complex. The examination of dozens of tomographical images obtained from different angles using Capella space and Umbra radars enabled a 3D reconstruction of most of the objects inside the Pyramid of Khafre. Below, we present some images.
Everything she's just said is more or less gone over my head.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the
Okay,
accent.
cool. So it's not just me. Gotcha. Let's keep going.
From our 3D analysis. The analysis of the structures above Belzoni's chamber are intensely colored spots which can be observed appearing in all tomographic images taken from different angles corresponding to the internal artificial structures.
Okay, that one I understood. So basically what she's stating is that no matter what angle the photo was taken at, these structures were there. So that would imply that this is not just if you've got multiple photos from multiple angles, it's not just a trick. How many times we got like a photo of the ocean floor and we think there's something down there, then you get from another angle and it's like, oh, that was just a big rock. Like, you know what I mean? So this is consistent amongst different camera angles is what it sounds like.
On the next page, it says that improvements of the signal to noise ratio, revealing the internal structure of the 5 Zs, consisting of 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. So this is the raw pictures of the data that they used to create their model. And this
begs the question that those scientists that were like, oh, well, that's not how the science works. That's not how this imaging works. You can't do this. We're looking right now at the infrared. Like, clearly, you might not like it, or maybe it's not, again, like it's a peer reviewed. It's not how the scientific community wants it done. But like, clearly, the images are here. So
yeah,
I'm curious how they're going to debunk it.
Yeah, I'm curious about that as well. And then that debunk it would imply that it's not true. So if it's not true, how are they going to? Justin Channel says, unfortunately, they interpolated a lot of data and ignored others in order to go from scan to 3D model. They could look like stalactites rather than cylinders. Interesting. Okay, well, that's a good point. If they fudge the data to make it look consistent across all the photos, that's fair. We'll see.
is the model. So it reads the tomography with another cross-sectional line showing the presence of vertical structures. And if you think that was pretty mind-blowing, it then goes on to say, as observed in the 3D model below the ground level, so ground zero of the main structure, vertically aligned cylindrical structures extend for hundreds of meters beneath the Giza plateau. Notably, 8 of these structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, merging into 2 large.
What do you think this could be used for as it currently stands, just based on this information? Like, I have a thought, but I don't know. It would literally just be a theory with no information to back it up, so it's just a guess.
My theory right now is the pyramids were actually meant to be bouncy houses.
They do look like spring, don't they? Because I kept thinking box springs. Jeez.
If I was to wager an actual guess, just based on like what other conspiracy theorists have said in the past, some sort of geothermal, like, power source or whatnot, basically giant batteries, maybe.
Okay.
Literally no idea. That's just a guess going forward. We'll have to see what other videos
That's
say.
better speculation than what I got going on.
I would have to then ask, what would the batteries be for?
Possibly what was used to build the pyramids, because we all good goddamn know they weren't just carving fucking blocks of rock from a quarry 200 miles away and dragging that shit.
That's fair.
Yeah, Justin Channels. So there's actually an interesting theory that links Tesla himself to the pyramids. That might be for a different episode of TFH, unless this ends up correlating to it. But yes, there is history between Tesla and the pyramids. The pyramids are aligned with the Orion constellation perfectly. Well, they were. They're not anymore because the shift in the Earth's axis ever so slightly over thousands of years. However, look at their alignment to Orion now, and you could backdate about 3,000 years or 6,000, however long it would have been. And they were aligned at the time. There's been a little bit of shift since then.
Large cubic structures measuring approximately 80 meters per side. These features are illustrated in the topographical images and models presented. The paper then adds to that with some even more interesting detail, which is that the 8 cylindrical structures that have been identified in the tomographical image appear as vertical wells, which are hollow inside and surrounded by descending.
Is the audio cutting out for anybody else? Ross is asking. It may be your browser, man. Especially because Cindy and I found out recently that Chrome and Brave been having trouble sharing your screen and playing browser audio. We had to go to Firefox, and Firefox is gay. We are all Orions and don't know it.
Spiral pathways. It then goes on to describe the third step, which is a lot of the analysis they've done based on all this data that they've collected. So they say the next phase involved analyzing the tomographic data to determine the full extent of the underground structures beneath.
Real quick, we got Gaming Brethren Advocates coming in with a 5-banger. Thank you so much. It says, time to look up Nikola Tesla, folks. These are possibly conductive media of some kind. I wonder if he meant conductive metals of some kind. Grounding rods or hyperchemical ion collection scoops. I don't know what hydrochemical. Yeah. So hydrochemical ion collection scoops are. But yeah, again, that's the right up here. That's effectively my theory. Grounding rods. That's why I think this is some sort of battery or geothermal energy producer. Yeah. Well, you and I are on the same page with this one. So real quick, let's get you a clip. You know what? Zax is here, so we'll go ahead and we'll give you this one.
Little pig, whack me in.
Also, fuck Mage Wolf. Let's keep going.
The Giza plateau. The tomographic images clearly reveal that the structures exist beneath the plateau, extending below the pyramids of Khafre, Khufu, and Menkaure for approximately 2 kilometers below ground. So mind-blowing as all that is, there's still more to come. And this is just a little bit of the information that they have shared with us so far. So we can look forward to a lot more to come out fairly soon. And I will keep you posted. In the meantime, this is a look at some of the models and some of the data.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
So there
secretly
was
a
that.
man?
That was the far more informational and professional. I would say resource that we can go through. Yeah, there was a lot there. Someone mentioned earlier about there's is it lime deposits or no, it's not lime. Hold on, let me scroll back up and see it. Oh yeah. Natural limestone aqueducts under the pyramids that, when flowing, the water could generate electricity. Yeah, so it could be hydrothermal. You're right. Instead of geothermal, it could be hydrothermal. And also, someone earlier said that what these are just stalactites, and the information is being a bit obfuscated. Even so, that would mean that there's a massive cave system underneath. Even if it's not man-made, if there are stalactites, wouldn't that mean there's a cave system underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza? That would be my take on it. Let's go ahead and pull up now one of the videos that was dropped in the Discord. I have not seen this yet. Was saving it specifically for this, and it says we're only doing this for another half hour or so. We're gonna go ahead and just knock this out. I have no idea the quality of this video. I have no idea how good of a video it is. I have no idea how accurate it is. But that's the fun of this show, is we're all gonna be learning this together. So let's get into it.
Claiming that the greatest archaeological discovery was just made at the pyramids. But what does this mean for Christianity? For a long time, the pyramids have had tons of speculation and mystery about their origin. On one side of the spectrum, you have some people that say it was definitely built by humans. Just don't know how they did it. And the other side says it was definitely aliens.
Where do you guys sit on this? Pyramids, aliens or humans?
Oh,
I like
man.
to think aliens.
Aliens is the fun theory, and then the not fun theory is that they had some kind of technology or pulley system that we have no idea what they did.
You're both wrong. Nephilim built the pyramids.
Nephilim. All right.
Yeah, the angel human hybrids from space, Nephilim.
Well, there were supposed to be giants, right? That would actually
yes,
track.
right. Yes, Nephilim. Fuck, I can't talk tonight. Nephilim were giants. Yes.
I never heard of this.
Justin Channel's talking about acoustic-based levitation. I want to do that on an episode. I actually want to talk about this on an episode of TFH, but not one where we only have an hour, because that is a much larger topic. Yes, so acoustic-based levitation is actually, again, that ties to the Nikola Tesla pyramids theory that I was talking about earlier. Yes.
Advanced species that came over and used their advanced technology to build something that, within that context and time in history, can't be explained. But this latest discovery may reveal something even more mysterious. And it's possible that the narrative that all these pyramids were tombs is all wrong. And interestingly enough, some of these theories may even be explained through scripture. But before we get into that, guys, my name is Ruslan. This channel exists to encourage, empower, and inspire you to live a life that blesses God. So if you're new here, or if you're not new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe. There's a huge percentage of people that watch this channel, unfortunately, are not.
Jake Martin says, bedrock, granite, sandstone, divert a little water, throw in some salt. We're looking at a megalithic circuit. Kind of woo-woo, but Jesus fucking Christ, the sheer fucking size of it, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, I think I am one of the individuals that believes, and I call it woo or whatnot, but this is the personal belief that I hold, the civilization restart theory, and that we actually did have advanced civilizations prior to some sort of greater cataclysmic event, an extinction level event that very few humans survived, and we had to effectively rebuild from the ground up. And we are actually, who knows what cycle of restart we're on, but I do not think that we are the first.
Atlantis.
What was that?
Whatever sunk Atlantis.
Yes, you're 100% correct. Whatever sunk Atlantis. That Atlantis could have been a truly advanced, prehistorical society that the Younger Dryas just took the fuck out.
Oh wow!
Yep.
I haven't heard any of this.
Kalpara, Younger Dryas. Yep, Younger Dryas was the end of many of these civilizations. The way Egyptians were just obsessed with the afterlife makes my mind go directly to there. Fuck you. Justin Channel's coming in, becoming a member. Thank you so much, dude. I truly appreciate it. You didn't need to do what you did. It means the absolute world to me. And while we are all about scientific exploration here. We're also about a fair amount of hating on Alyssa Mercante. So this is for you. If I can find the clip, give me a moment. I missed it. Kato, where you
Y'all
at? Here
can
it
clip
is.
me all you want. I think Alyssa Mercante has a nice ass, but I guarantee you she doesn't shave her armpits. So I'm good.
And that's where we're sitting. Just so you know the kind of channel you joined. Ancient prehistoric civilizations and Alyssa Mercante's hairy pits.
No. All right, let's jump into the video. I'll try to keep this as simple as possible. Basically, they used radar Doppler tomography from outer space that they were able to scan to see the foundations of the pyramids, meaning that they now understand what's underneath the pyramids. And what they discovered is rather shocking, if we're going to be honest. This was posted by Jay Anderson, who basically kind of synthesized the press release. And I think he's the one that created these graphics. So I want to make sure we give him a shout out, where they show what's underneath these pyramids using this new technology that can help them scan the ground. Check this out.
The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's
the dude is completely sane and stable because he's got all of his paperwork attached to his wall.
Yeah.
You don't see the red string.
Hey, maybe it's something that his kid colored for him.
I would say the red string is why we know he isn't crazy, because he puts it all up on the wall so he can look at it straight ahead, but he doesn't need to connect it all. He can just visualize it. Like, I'm here. I believe this guy already. He's got a good vibe about him. He's got sort of like a Count Dankula was a scientist vibe.
What's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock. In fact, over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground.
That's really deep. They're going to the bedrock, meaning the foundation of the earth, which is crazy that the bedrock's so high in Egypt. I didn't expect almost a mile deep, I guess, of just sand and stuff, dirt and sand. And so they're going to the very, very, very deep of the bedrock. And these pyramids have these foundations that we didn't know they had prior to this.
Massive internal structures connected to the base of the pyramid and extending deep, deep down. This is what we know so far. This has allowed researchers to create a 3D model of the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, this model has revealed a previously unknown chamber with 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof, which in of itself is an architectural design unlike any previously documented in the Giza Pyramid.
Okay.
All right. Interesting point. So, yeah, I mean, if we're looking at these, assuming these models are accurate, let's for conversation's sake right now, assume these models are accurate. He's right. These look nothing like Egyptian architecture. So what do you think that can mean?
Somebody had to help them. So I mean, yeah, because if that's not even their structures and it's not normal for them, then that would mean somebody had to give them input.
Or, I mean, that's absolutely a theory. Or the other one would be that these were here first and the Egyptians came later. And these are actually older than the pyramids. The pyramids was built on top of this by...
Oh,
I mean that's either one is possible, in my opinion. What about you,
that
Sam?
would be why it would line up with Orion, wouldn't it? Because if the structures were already there, then they would have the points. So that would explain why they didn't, how they were able to line it up perfectly.
Jay Martin says, I doubt Rogan's gonna have someone on to discuss this week. You're probably right. We are also going to be discussing this on Beaming Up Badger, I believe, on Thursday on Badger's Woo Woo show. So, probably not the Mayans. I don't know that there was ever any Mayan crossover with Egypt. I think there's a bit of time difference between the two civilizations. Also, aren't they close to finding Cleopatra's tomb too? I was following some lady that spent her life looking for it. I don't know if they're close, but there are people who are still actively looking for it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always found it odd that they spent all this time, all this money, decades, to just build tombs for dead guys. I understand that the pharaohs were godlike to them, but to spend all this money, all this resource to build something that was just a glorified burial site for a pharaoh didn't really jive with me. Something was off. It seemed like a bad waste of resource and time. It just seemed weird. And so now with...
I mean, to be fair, humans would get up to some wild shit before they had video games.
Yeah, I was gonna say something just like that. I was like, they didn't have shit else to do. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't play soccer in the sand.
Yeah.
What they're starting to get at is that perhaps these structures are alluding to some more utility for the pyramids than just these places that house the tombs of dead guys.
Now, this design not only implies a functional purpose, but also a level of sophisticated engineering that completely blows the dynastic Egyptian model out of the water. I mean, the pyramid itself was already a massive red flag in the ancient Egyptian historical narrative. But now, with this discovery, I think it's become impossible.
And so this is where all the theories start to come out, including Billy Carson's beloved Emerald Tablets.
It's also possible that this spiraling cylindrical series of structures are staircases. And I can't help but think of the channeled writings of Thoth the Atlantean, the Emerald Tablets, speaking of a lost hall of records.
The Emerald Tablets are another thing that we will have to cover on this show at some point, because the Emerald Tablets are and they have ties to Plato and to Atlantis, and like it connects the Greeks and the Egyptians. It's another just wild historical theory that, like, I don't really know if it can be discredited, but I don't know if there's a lot of room for it to be true either, because it's so long ago.
Yeah, it's not one or the other. They don't have enough info to credit it, but since we don't have enough info on it, we therefore cannot discredit it.
Yes, there are no retarded questions, just retarded people asking questions.
Records, a sacred hall of knowledge below the Giza plateau, the halls of Amenti. Could this be the lost hall of records from the pre-flood era?
And it's interesting to hear him say Emerald Tablets while at the same time talking about the pre-flood era, which we're definitely going to get to a little later in this video. And so everyone's favorite drunk uncle had to get in on this. This is Alex Jones, and
that is the best description.
I didn't know Alex Jones weighed in on this. I'm all in. Let's hear what
Friend of the fucking channel, Alex Jones.
Yes.
I want to meet this man someday.
Posted this rendition of what the foundation of it looks like. I don't know if he put this together or AI did, but this is rather spectacular. I gotta admit it. And some people even began drawing the similarities between this image and the Washington Monument, and the connection of something inside of the human spirit to want to create long, tall, and deep pillars. Now, this is
the Christian channel, obviously. You talk about what implications it's have on Christianity. You're talking about Tower of Babel. Like, yeah, humans like making tall shit. Burj Khalifa.
Been an absolute boom in the woohoo community, with some even pointing to the similarities of earthing and plants and the energy of the earth being able to be harnessed by you and I. In response to the video that we looked at earlier, check out this reaction. I'm reminded of these copper coil wrapped cylindrical sticks gifted to me by a friend. I was told they create some kind of an energetic effect that enhances the health and vitality of the plant.
I've heard this, but I don't know if it's true. Does anyone know this is true, what Mr. E is saying?
Don't the Easter Island.
Yes, I do.
I've heard that they were kind of like icebergy, where we only see what's on top, but
yeah, no, this is something I don't have information on, but these two seem to say so we'll just roll with it, and we'll do that on another episode at some point, maybe. Hey, catch you later, Nadia. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you.
Have a good one, Nadia.
Yeah, Cinevere Stars, I believe so. Let's see. Hey, Mr. 3P knows all about earthing plants, so that's dope. Plants are very special. Yes, they can keep us alive. Yeah, talking to your plants. There was a study done where this dude, he kept a controlled environment. He had 3 plants. They were all the exact same type of plant. He showered one with verbal love and affection, gave no just acknowledgement to a second one, and berated the third one. The one that he gave no love or affection to just treat like a normal plant, grew at the rate of a normal plant. The one that he berated didn't grow at all, and the one that he showered with verbal affection grew at an accelerated rate.
Has that been tested multiple times?
I don't know.
What about the talking to your water?
I think he means talk to your plant. Oh, and your water. I've never heard of talking to your water.
Who's your good boy?
What about talking to your potato water? I love you for what you do to me.
Make me more drunk. Potato water.
I'm not sure how they connected this to the pyramids, but like, I'm here for it. Needless to say, from now until they actually reveal all of the archaeological discoveries, this is a great time for the Billy Carsons of the world to have a woo-woo course. And like many things that are theories and even scams, they tend to be anchored in some degree of truth. And this is where we get into the theory that the pyramids weren't just glorified tombs for powerful dead guys, that the pyramids were actually used to harvest energy. That's right. And this is not just
Bingo, bango, bongo. There it is, baby. Let's go. That's what I said earlier in the show. I had no idea if this is what he was going to refer to or not. Let's do it. I'm all in.
just some crazy conspiracy. This was apparently believed by engineer Nikola Tesla. And here's a breakdown from the Y files of
Hey, look at
the
that. He
theory
can't
that
pronounce
Nikola
Italian
Tesla.
either.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people say Nikolai, some say Nicola. Either way, shout out Y-Files, my all-time favorite YouTube channel. So it's gonna be cool. He's referencing them.
Believed regarding this energy and how it was harvested. Check this out.
Acoustic engineers have determined the gallery resonates at 440 hertz and naturally emits an F-sharp chord. 440 hertz and the F-sharp chord have been connected to a lot of woo-woo ideas, but there's a reason for that. It's considered a sound that resonates in harmony with the earth. The builders of the pyramid knew this. Longtime Mac users will recognize this sacred chord. At the top of the gallery.
Wow. That's crazy. Now, there's a whole theory about
Also, other musicians in the chat, you can fact check me on this because I am not from the Caribbean. But if I recall, reggae is all built, like the music genre reggae is all built on variations of the F sharp chord, just different variations of the F sharp chord that are played off beat. So,
really,
yeah. Well, again, assuming that what my old school guitar, I only ever took 2 guitar lessons, and then I'm all self-taught the rest. But that's what my guitar teacher said in like my first or second lesson. You can write entire reggae songs, just all variations of that F sharp chord.
Also, this guy looks like Adam Sandler if Adam Sandler wasn't Jewish.
That's good. AJ Watt Files, this is their episode on acoustic levitation. Yep, sure is. I actually rewatched that episode like a week ago. I go to the Watt Files every night.
modern music and potentially retuning certain songs to be more in line with the earth. Like that's a whole thing that mixing engineers talk about a lot. And so it's interesting that this is in tune and the Mac is in tune and that there's this whole connection with all of it.
Gallery is a small shaft leading to the king's chamber. The opening is 8.4 by 4.8 inches. This is the perfect size for hydrogen microwaves to pass into the king's chamber, which also resonates at 440 hertz and F sharp. Above the king's chamber are 5 layers of granite beams, stacked and separated by air gaps. This is called the relieving chamber because it was believed that this interior structure relieved the weight of the pyramid. That's not what it does. The beam.
Before we find out what it does, Yarnwitch became a member all on her own. Yarny, thank you so much, girlie. It didn't need to do what you did. You know what? Because you joined and because it means the world to me, let's go ahead and show you some animal violence.
So cute.
I feel like I play that clip just to see if it'll get a reaction out of Hondo every time. This chick covered the stuff on Funny Old World. She's not unattractive and has a cute accent. She might be on Archaeology 8 for future shows. DM me. All right, let's keep going.
Beams are smooth on 3 sides, but rough cut on the top. Christopher Dunn believes the reason for the rough cut is this is how the beams were tuned. The builders could.
Now, this right here, does this image not look like exactly what was found, what was modeled underneath the pyramid?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it
You're
does.
right.
So obviously there's a historical precedent for this. Again, this doesn't look Egyptian either.
Could it have been like chosen to like okay, somebody said something about they fudged the data a little bit, right?
Well, the data that they potentially fudged was on these spherical cylindrical items, or not the spherical, the cylindrical items that were underneath these structures.
Oh, okay. So these ones have already been clocked as actually being there?
That I'm not sure. None of the information I found really says one way or the other. All the debunking seems to be tried about the cylindrical tube type objects, not the structures on top. But that doesn't mean the structures on top aren't real. So it's getting real fuzzy at this point.
Okay. No, that's fascinating. Sorry.
No, you're good. We changed the frequency of musical notes. If you retune with an old tech, the music has a harmony with the body. I don't even think that it's just old, old tech, because I think that you can even do that with computer generated music. To my knowledge, is actually have it harmonize with the human body. I think like there's medical uses for that, but I could be wrong. Sammy, you're a better musician than me. That might be more up your alley.
I mean, I've heard plenty of different things where
You have a homework
there's
assignment,
certain
Sammy.
tones and things that are supposed to like realign your chakras or whatever. Or there are certain vibrations that are supposed to promote good health. I've heard that for plenty of different times. I just like music because it sounds good, but you know.
a true everyman. Also, Justin Channel says, right, the scans are real. They're not necessarily cylinders. This is the first time LiDAR was used for this purpose or needs to be repeated. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate the clarification.
Vibrate the granite beams and slowly chip away at the stone until they resonated with an F-sharp chord, which they do. The King's Chamber is what's known as a Helmholtz resonator. When you blow air across the top of a bottle and create sound, that's a Helmholtz resonator. Change the volume of liquid in the bottle or change the volume of stone within the chamber, you change the pitch. The entire complex is a giant musical instrument. Now, some skeptics reluctantly agree that the Great Pyramid has musical properties. But for skeptics to consider the pyramid as a power plant, they would need evidence to show that a giant stone pyramid would respond to electromagnetic energy.
Okay.
There was no...
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how we make the leap from it vibrating to it being a power plant. Within just making this...
Well, because, I mean, vibrations would generate energy, right? That's how you make that leap?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, this is a weird one. This is a weird one. No, I'll forget the typos. Absolutely. This one's a lot. This is completely out of the realm of like last week we talked about the fucking black-eyed children. Before that was Mothman. Now we're talking about the pyramids being hydrothermal or geothermal batteries or whatever, like
or cosmic tuning forks.
Yeah, cosmic tuning forks. Yeah, the world's ultimate fucking guitar tuner. Like this is a bit out of all of our depths, but it's so insanely interesting that I want to learn more.
Oh yeah.
This video, there's some very obvious things that our buddy from Why Not Files got completely wrong. For starters, the F sharp chord is not 440 frequency. The F sharp note is also not 440 frequency. Okay, it's 369 hertz. Every single note on a piano makes a specific frequency when you hit it. Respectfully, it makes me question how much of the rest of the video is inaccurate based on this whole the tombs are connected to 440 hertz when he's saying F sharp chords, and that's not how chords work, nor is this the actual frequencies of the notes. But that's neither here nor there.
Whether true or not, it's scientifically possible that the Great Pyramid was a structure for creating...
And to fact check, internationally recognized standard for musical pitch, 440 hertz corresponds to the musical note A above the middle C, also known as A4. So it'd actually be the so an A4 chord, which is a bitch of chord depending on the guitar, by the way, would be what is 440 hertz. So correct debunking there.
Harnessing and focusing energy. The exterior was made of material that insulates electricity. The interior was made of material that conducts electricity. The chambers were made of material that creates electricity. The next piece of evidence is the pyramid's ability to focus EM energy. In 2018, scientists used radio waves at different frequencies to see if the Great Pyramid would interact with electromagnetic waves of a resonant length. Their experiments proved that in a resonant state, the pyramid can concentrate electromagnetic energy in the internal chambers as well as under its base. Resonance in the pyramid can be induced by radio waves with the lengths ranging from 200 to 600 meters. The closer to 200 meters, the more dramatic the effect. A year after that, in 2019, Eric Wilson published a paper called A Large-Scale Thermal Acoustic Generator. The paper describes how, when granite and other rocks are vibrated, electrons will migrate through the rock and up to the surface. By combining science and music, the builders of the pyramid created a power-generating machine tuned to the natural harmonic of the Earth's vibration that primarily comes from the tidal energy created by the moon's gravity.
All right, so this is all a lot, all at once. And I've seen this episode of Y-Files several times, and even I am having fucking trouble following this. Again, I go to sleep with this channel every night, but like the idea that they were able to build a structure that would resonate with the Earth's frequency and whatnot doesn't actually seem too far-fetched for me. In that, I mean, we made the joke earlier that hey, they didn't have video games to fucking keep them busy. What they did have was music, and a lot of motherfuckers played music back then because that was just a normal form of entertainment. So it wouldn't surprise me if they knew a bunch of ancient musical techniques that just sort of been lost to time as technology's made our lives easier.
Yeah.
Oh, that is valid. It kind of makes you wonder what they had as far as technology that we missed out on.
That's why, I mean, that's 100% why I believe in the civilization restart theory, as I believe we've missed it. There's a lot of stuff we can't recreate. We can't recreate Greek fire.
Technology created thousands of years ago could generate unlimited clean energy. But how did they get the energy out? That brings us back to Tesla.
So regardless on the theories around frequencies and whether the pyramids can harvest energy, you're kind of left with two different views of this. Before I explain those, what we do know is that it likely was not ancient Egyptians that had this sort of revolutionary technology. So we're kind of left with two possibilities. One is that it was some other more advanced civilization that built these sorts of things that got wiped out by the flood, that's also referenced in the Bible and referenced in many other stories from antiquity, or it was aliens. And the alien story tends to be very compelling. This is where Billy Carson gets his emerald tablets from. This is where a lot of people find intrigue in that another species that's more technologically advanced came down and gave humans this advanced technology. But there's only one problem with that. And my buddy, Nate Sala from Wise Disciple, who's actually going to be at the Blessed God Summit, more on that later, did a great job explaining why the idea of alien.
You can absolutely use X. I don't mind at all. People can just absolutely DM me on X. My DMs are open. Or I've got my business email is in the information on my YouTube channel, wordsofparadise94@gmail.com.
Aliens coming here is unlikely. Check this out.
We even know on a very limited scale that there are other beings that God has created who, it appears, do not share our unique quality of being made in the image of God. I'm referring to angels right now. So, is it possible for there to be other beings that God has created somewhere else in the universe? And the answer is yes, of course, it's possible. But that's not the.
I love this argument. As a Christian who's also a believer in science, a hardcore believer in science and whatnot, this is a great argument he's making. But anyway, I know we've got to be wrapping soon because Sam, you have another show to get to. So,
question to ask, in my opinion. I think a better question to ask is it plausible that the experiences that folks are having are with alien beings from another planet in our universe? And as far as I can understand, as I understand the issue, the answer is no, it is not plausible. There's a really great book. It's called The Privileged Planet. Well, according to the authors of The Privileged Planet, the Earth fits into the Goldilocks zone, which is a rare environment in the universe for life to thrive. As far as we can tell, only our planet fits into this Goldilocks zone. There does not appear to be another Goldilocks zone out there in the observable universe. So that's why
that's a little bit incorrect. I would say so. The Goldilocks zone is going to be an incredibly rare occurrence, no matter where you are in the solar system, the universe, the galaxy, what have you. In fact, the Goldilocks zone is also going to be different system to system because size of the sun has to be taken into account. The size of the planet has to be taken into account. The atmospheric makeup has to be taken into account. So there's no uniform consensus on the Goldilocks zone. But Sammy, do you have to bounce or are you sticking around for a little bit? What's your timeline looking like?
Stick around for a little bit more.
Okay, just keep me posted.
I say, this is not plausible that there are alien beings from another planet. But, okay, let's concede that for argument's sake. Let's say they do exist. Okay, well, now they need to travel all the way here. The problem is the nearest galaxy is something like 25,000 years away, and that's if the spaceship travels at the speed of light. So now we're talking about beings that would have to live unbelievably ridiculous long periods of time, and in order to survive getting here. And that's why I say it's unlikely. It's implausible that there are alien beings from some other planet in a galaxy far, far away traveling here. Now, maybe we're not dealing with interstellar travel, right? Maybe we're dealing with interdimensional travel. Okay, that's more interesting because the Bible appears to touch on this notion, right? Okay, Christians in the audience, here's a question for you. Where is heaven located? If you look at the
Christian in the audience, answer. This is my Dora the Explorer moment. Heaven is another dimension. Heaven does not exist within the confines of our existing universe, within our laws of physics, the whole nine. Heaven is another dimension. That's
Agreed.
I mean,
Where heaven is Heather.
well, I mean, so this is gonna get to a big philosophical debate here. So I'll just move on. Unless you got anything to add, Sammy.
No, I agree with you completely. We have a bunch of satellites that have gone every which direction in space. No one's bumped into heaven just yet. So it's not
unless you watch that episode of Futurama, they do touch on that.
Creation account in Genesis, and you sort of, reflect on what we know about science. Well, then clearly God created the universe at a finite moment in the past. This means that space and time and matter, all these things came into existence at some point. And if you rewind time enough down to the moment of creation, what you have before creation, if I can use those words to make sense of that moment, what that is an environment outside of space, time, and matter. To the best of our knowledge, to me, this is another dimension.
He goes on to point out that in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, the Apostle Paul, who's writing the church in Ephesus, kind of alludes to this fairly clearly in verse 12. It says, we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. That there is an unseen world that is happening. And is it possible that spirits coming from the unseen world are able to impact different parts of history from a different dimension into our dimension? Well, I would argue yes. I would argue, just like Nate did, that this is actually more plausible than this idea that aliens came and gave Egyptians sophisticated tools that we don't have access to today. And that's how they were able to build these super mile deep pillars that the pyramids then stood on top of. And they were potentially even able to use some form of energy from these pyramids. And if you think about it, that is a beautiful part about the gospel narrative. The idea that Jesus, who is God, Yahweh, is immaterial and then comes in a material physical body, lives the life we couldn't live, dies the death we should have died on the cross in our place for our sins, then rises on the third day and empowers us to usher in heaven on this side of eternity.
Ryan, there's a very easy answer to your question. That sounds like such a deep philosophical question, but it's not. Pursuit of knowledge will always be the greatest thing a human can do. The pursuit of knowledge and understanding, it's the very simple case of it's the journey, not the destination. The One Piece wouldn't matter at the end of One Piece if it wasn't about the journey to get to the One Piece. Think of the quest for heaven like that. Sammy, your thoughts?
No, I agree with that too. It was like, it's the journey.
Cindy,
But
anything to add?
actually, I should get going.
No, I mean,
you guys finish up, wrap up. We'll reconvene next week. But yeah, I mean, by all means, like, finish the video and stuff. Yeah, you got to plug me. I'm just.
All right, Sammy. We got another TFH coming next week. Hopefully, it'll be a longer episode. We'll have a guest. I think we have that planned, but I don't quite recall all the details.
I got to talk to Hayden. Get his
possibly Mandela effect, right? Is that what it might be?
Yeah, but a very specific part of the Mandela effect. So he was talking to me and Cindy about it, and I was just like, oh. Guy understands the assignment. All right. So
perfect. Well, speaking of understanding the assignment, I understand you gotta go bounce out of here. Me and Cindy will take the reins. We'll finish this video and then we'll wrap the show.
All right. Love you guys. See you next week.
Deuces, brother.
Bye.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hayden in the chat. How you doing, brother?
Oh, that would be
the
awesome.
same way we
That's gonna
see
be a
him in the Lord's Prayer say, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven is another realm. Heaven is not a physical place, though there will be a new heaven and new earth when Jesus returns. That's the beautiful part. And all of us who are followers of Jesus get to get in on this mission with him. And that is exactly the heart of what we're attempting to do with the Blessed God Summit. Like I told you guys, my buddy Nate Sala is going to be there. We have 3 days. Day one is all about worldview. And so this is really a worldview type of conversation. If you believe that there is another realm, then you believe that truth and lies and goodness and evil exist, and that there's a real war happening. So we have Dr. Sean McDowell talking about the evidence for the resurrection, Preston Perry, Mike Jones from Inspiring Philosophy, Lila Rose, Nick D, and of course, my buddy Nate Sala, who's going to be there, Dallas Jenkins from The Chosen. And so day one is going to be discussing this idea of worldview and what does it mean to have a Christian worldview. And then day two, we go from worldview to virtue, because the virtue becomes the bridge for us to impact the world, impact the marketplace, impact those out there with our worldview through our virtue. So if you want more information on that, go to blessgodsummit.com. You can get yourself a virtual ticket, or you can get yourself an in-person ticket. We also
part of things you've said, and I don't know. I like it. I love having you here as a viewer, and whatnot. But I don't fucking just bound cats out of my audience. This is a fucking stupid statement. Trying to answer questions and not be able to answer is pointless. A, you do not know that you'll never be able to answer them. That's why these questions exist. The pursuit of that knowledge, again, the pursuit of the knowledge is just as important as the attainment of that knowledge. Not only that, saying that we'll never know what happens after we die. Well, no, because after we die, we will then find out. So we might never know in the realm of the living. But even that isn't necessarily true. There could be some sort of massive scientific breakthrough that actually does let us know what can happen post death. So yeah, no, I'm sorry. This whole trying to answer a question never able to answer is pointless, is nihilistic bullshit that I'll never be able to get behind, and it honestly leads to a sad, very just an existence all about just the physical world that you exist in, which is so limiting and devoid of creativity and devoid of existential thought or any sort of deep philosophical thought. So yeah, no, I call it
Actually,
complete bullshit.
if people didn't question things, we wouldn't have so many scientific marvels that we have now. Everything has not been created. We're just at a stopping point because we can't figure out what the next step is. If we don't ask questions, we'll never find that next step.
Bingo, bango, bongo. I could not agree more with the pretty lady.
Just confirmed Alex O'Connor versus David Wood debate on if Jesus claimed to be God. That is happening on the second day of the conference. So go to blessgodsummit.com, get your tickets. And if you want to hear how 80 years later, Billy Graham's plan is finally starting to make sense, check out this talk I did at the Apologetics Canada conference right after my man West Health went up. We'll have this over here. All right. I'll see you guys over there. Peace.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. At the end of the day, I guess it's just gonna boil down to Cindy. I gotta ask you with this with the revelations of what we saw, revelations, just talking about Jesus, with the revelations of what we just learned throughout the course of this, the article from the New York Post with that first video we watched, now with this, where are you leaning in terms of belief in this discovery?
Oh, the irony goes further. This is from a God. This is you asking this question when you look like Jesus, especially if you have to or if you want to do like an AI generated image, you just type in Jesus with a parrot.
This is true. Yeah, y'all ever want to make AI of me? Just type in Jesus with a parrot. You're exactly correct.
But I will tell you this. I am so excited to learn more. I've never heard of the Emerald Tablets. I haven't heard of a lot of this stuff, and it's fascinating. I want to know what the positive theory is for the giant coils and the buildings inside. I have so many questions. I'm so excited to find out more, and I'll actually be keeping an eye out for more information on this.
No, yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think this is going to be an excellent thing. Who knows? Maybe in the coming months, there'll be new information. We'll be able to revisit this topic with a new, fresh set of eyes, whether it be debunked, whether it be more additional information. But as far as the whole who cares mentality between, Dax and Ryan having the conversation, that's my point. The who cares mentality is a retarded mentality. It's a lazy mentality. It's a mentality devoid of any philosophical, theological, or existential thought, because you're only focusing on the physical here and now, which I think is a complete and utter waste. Because even if you have these thoughts that are purely theological or incorporeal, scientific exploration can end up making those realities. We can find out more about our own physical world. Where do atoms get their mass? Well, it turns out they get them from another fucking atom called the Higgs boson particle. That's something that, if we weren't trying to figure out, it's called the God particle for a reason. So no, I do not abide by the idea of a who cares mentality when it comes to these existential questions. But that being said, I think we'll wrap it on that. Fucking awesome. Thank you so much, I-Man, for bringing this up on the Sunday special stream and bringing this to my attention, because I had not heard about this. Made for one. That's why I said particle. Well, I said that. I fixed it to say particle in my recreation. In my correction. Fuck, I've had trouble talking.
Recreation.
Recreation, correction, whatever. Point is, we're gonna wrap it here. I-Man, thank you so much for all the new members. Thank you so much. Those of you that came in, had the conversation. No, I said it is called the God particle, the Higgs boson particle, called the God particle. Also, I play the fucking tape back. I said particle at least twice. Anyway. So yes, that being said, we're going to wrap the show here. Cindy, what do you got to plug? Because I know you got something very special tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time, I'm going to attempt to stream, guys, so bear with me while I learn. It's going to be a little janky, but we're going to have fun, and we're going to laugh at Cindy. But
Wait,
I also...
say sing?
Cindy.
Oh, we laugh at Cindy. I said we're going to laugh and sing. I'm like, that doesn't seem up your alley. Let's do it. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, no. I sang happy birthday for Hayden, and I was embarrassed for days afterward.
Yeah, Cindy debut stream super hype. You good goddamn right, Paul. It's about time she's done streaming with us fucking losers and does her own thing. I'm very stoked for tomorrow's show. And on top of that, I will have videos coming out tomorrow. I released a video today. Please check that out. It's about an incredibly retarded article written about the Legend of Zelda. That makes 2 in like a week. So there's a psyop going on for the Legend of Zelda. We need to nip that shit in the bud. Beyond that, of course, I'll be on various other streams of the week. Just stay posted on X. But then tonight, this is important for tonight at 11 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 9 o'clock p.m. Avocado Time. I think it's like midnight for you people in you know the Devil's Land, like New York and shit. That Crime of the Month over on Foxy Mox's channel. Me and her bringing it back. We were supposed to do it last week. There were some complications. We're doing it tonight. The Nixium cult. That's what we're going to be discussing. The Nixium cult. It is going to be an excellent show. Put this one together pretty much all on my own. But yeah, so make sure you check out Moxie's channel tonight. And until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise.